Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I got a couple XRP related stories for you in this video. The first one is titled Crypto Exchange Bitso aims to capture 20% of the US to Mexico remittance corridor by the end of 2020. And the second one is, where did it go? Here it is. XRP offered to shareholders as SBI Holdings implements year-end benefits. This is an update to a story that I had covered in the past. I've also got some tweets from some XRP community members on various topics, which I think you will find interesting as well. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button and go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel if you love your mama. That's how you prove it. And here's the first story. I got this from XRP Crypto, so I wanted to give a quick shout out. Thank you very much for sending this to my inbox. Always sending me the most delicious articles about XRP in the world of crypto here. So let's go ahead and dive into this first one about US to Mexico XRP remittances via on-demand liquidity. A crypto exchange Bitso captured just over 2% of the remittance market from the U.S. to Mexico last year and has thus set a lofty goal for itself to achieve a 20% market share by the end of 2020. Now, before I cover this further, keep this in mind as you're hearing what I'm saying here. Bitso has been around since, I'm going to have to pull this from memory, so I could be slightly off. Or no, it actually just stated here. So they've been around since 2014. And so we're talking about a 6-year-old company that already pulled in 2% of the remittance market from U.S. to Mexico last year. Now, even more astonishing, while keeping that in mind, brand new company, it might as well be brand spanking new, 6 years old. XRapid, now known as On-Demand Liquidity, launched in October of 2018. So roughly a year and a half ago, less than a year and a half ago. And again, without on-demand liquidity, this would not have happened. So even in less than a year and a half, that 2% figure was able to be achieved. That's astonishing. And this is just the start. Where do you think this is headed? And so for them to state something like 20% by the end of the year, it doesn't sound that ridiculous to me. Now, let me continue now. Founded in 2014, Bitso saw rapid growth in its XRP/peso volume in the past year, from less than $500,000 at the beginning of 2019 to nearly $3.5 million. In a recent episode of the Scoop podcast, Bitso CEO Daniel Vogel told The Block that the exchange is gaining traction in the U.S. to Mexico remittance market. According to Vogel, that market represents one of the world's busiest remittance corridors with approximately $35 billion in yearly transaction flow. In 2019, Bitso's volume on average accounted for over 2% of the U.S. to Mexico remittance market, he said. And that number continues to grow. In the fourth week of 2020, the exchange experienced its most active week, transacting around $24 million in remittances. That's about 3.5% of the total market, he said. Excuse me. And I'm sorry, I just lost my spot. One sec here. Technical difficulties here. Here we go. And here's a quote. This is what I want to get. Okay. Since the beginning of Bitso, we always wanted to make sure that cryptocurrencies were used for something more than just speculation, Vogel said. We've lived abroad, and we had the opportunity to see the high costs involved in sending money back home. When we learned about Bitcoin, one of the things that got us very excited is eliminating those costs. And then the piece continues. Conventionally, he explained, if someone in the U.S. wants to send money back to their families in Mexico, they have to go through a series of intermediaries before the recipient gets to pick up the cash. The process usually takes a long time. As a result, the money transmitter often has to take out loans to cover its liabilities in Mexico, which incurs a high cost of capital. Now, Bitso, on the other hand, has built a bridge that allows it to connect to the interbank payment system in Mexico, Vogel said, which enables real-time settlement of funds. In fact, a money transmitter can deposit XRP onto Bitso, exchange the funds for Mexican pesos, and have Bitso deliver the pesos to the recipient's bank account in Mexico. In the case that the recipient doesn't have a bank account, Bitso can deliver the funds to a partner cash operator in Mexico and have the recipient pick up the money there. Now, that last piece of information I was unaware that that was something that was functionally possible here. So that is fascinating indeed. In the case that the recipient doesn't have a bank account, Bitso can deliver the funds to a partner cash operator in Mexico and have the recipient pick up the money there. So very cool stuff. Next, here's a tweet from XRPL Charts on Twitter. And this is from today, 2/22/2020. A lot of twos in there. Here we go. XRP burned in the last 24 hours. I just found this fascinating. I want to share it with you. 401.932762 total. 401 XRP burned in 24 hours. So almost nothing. So here, the total amount of XRP burned, you know what the number is? I'll just round it for you. It's 8.9 billion out of, there's additionally 100 billion. So here's the total XRP remaining. 99,991,073,270 at the time of this tweet anyway. It will take thousands of years probably to get through this, and actually it's been probably like half a year or so since I did an update on the burn rate, so I don't know what the trajectory is. Probably hasn't changed too much, but there have been calculations showing that it would literally take thousands of years to run out of XRP at this pace. And technically, even if something like that happened, the network can make adjustments, and that's probably a topic for another video, but there are things that can be done. All right, next, here's a tweet from King Solomon that I came across in my feed, and I thought I'd share it with you. Brad Garlinghouse, and here's a quote. "In 5 years, I hope we aren't just Amazon books, but that we are Amazon. Amazon stock in 2001 was $6. Amazon stock on Friday, that'd be yesterday, $2,095.97. That's a 350 times return on investment. Now, obviously, XRP isn't a stock. I believe XRP is way more important than Amazon." And again, that's from King Solomon. He's at XRP_OWL. And then he had this little screen grab right here showing the appreciation of the Amazon stock price right there. And it's fascinating because obviously cryptocurrencies are not stocks, but it seems to me that the potential returns, the asymmetrical returns relative to other asset classes, they just dwarf what you saw, with the .com boom and bust, and just stocks in general. I guess it's not that surprising because you're talking about an asset, and it's an unknown, so there's that frenzy the aspect, of course, but you're talking about something that has a price attached to it, and in some cases, genuine value. So to me, it's not bizarre that we're seeing this type of growth. It's a brand new asset class. When you're considering Amazon, yeah, fine, it was internet was a new thing, this and that. Okay, it makes sense that there are some companies that were tremendous winners, but you're talking about the formation of a brand new asset class when you're talking about XRP and the rest of the cryptocurrencies in existence today. So from that perspective, when you think about it like that, yeah, it's not that odd that we're seeing staggering numbers. We're just not used to this. Well, but we should be by now. The asset class has been around for a decade. And, even though returns in terms of percentage gains with each market cycle, they diminish, we are nowhere near where this asset class will be if you could just fast forward decades from now. That's what I believe anyway. Not financial advice. I'm just sharing an opinion with you here. Now, here's a tweet from Michael B. on Twitter who wrote this. "Just had breakfast at a diner in Daytona Beach. Overheard couple at table at table next to us talking Bitcoin. I asked if they hodl XRP, and their answer was, quote, 'No way we'd ever buy that bank S-word coin.'" And then he writes, "If they only knew." What's it like to just have your head in the sand? Like, to be so blissfully unaware of the way that things are likely to unfold, to not even acknowledge the importance of real-world utility of cryptocurrency, and to think that speculation alone will perpetually, without end, result in higher appreciation in price. To have that concept ingrained in your head, it's just... Don't be fooled. Just because Bitcoin's been appreciating for 10 years, don't assume, I'm not saying that it will or won't, but don't assume that it will purely because of that. Because the truth is that humans are speculating, and by and large, the people that have their money in crypto don't know where this is all going to go. They just know there's something to it. And that's really what it is. But don't assume that some cryptocurrencies that have shown tremendous staying power for the better part of a decade, don't assume that they're going to be here forever, because they won't. And we'll see whether or not Bitcoin is one of those that has staying power. If it doesn't end up doing something, I'm still skeptical. I'm not going to say definitively that it won't. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe just the fact that it was there enough resulted in it becoming some sort of standard, but I'm highly skeptical of that. Some people just have such firm opinions, and they just don't know what the hell they're talking about. So I just thought I'd highlight it. All right, last piece for this video. XRP offer to shareholders as SBI Holdings implements year-end benefits. Japan's SBI Holdings announced on February 21st, that was yesterday, the decision to implement year-end shareholder benefits using virtual currency XRP. The largest bank in Japan had previously revealed consideration of the option to use XRP as the shareholders' benefit options. According to its latest announcement about the implementation, SBI Group said, quote, "To this end, in addition to the shareholder benefits that were implemented during the interim period, we will provide shareholder benefits at the end of the current fiscal year." And then it continues. "The shareholders who held at least one unit, 100 shares, were recorded in the shareholder registry as of March 31st, 2020, were eligible to receive this benefit. According to the data provided by the bank, any shareholder with over 1 unit shares will be eligible to receive 50 XRP, equivalent to 1,545 yen. SBI Group's virtual currency exchange, SBI VC Trade, will aid people with a virtual currency account and transfer the sum of 50 XRP to this account." And SBI elaborated, quote, "The company has presented 30 XRP of cryptocurrency XRP to shareholders as of September 30th, 2019, which sounds like broken English, as an interim shareholder benefit of March 31st, 2020. Combined with the year-end shareholder benefit of 50 XRP as of March 31st, 2020, the annual shareholder benefit of virtual currency XRP will be 80 XRP. Now, eventually, hopefully, those numbers will sound staggering. But right now, 80 XRP is not a staggering number. There you go. But anyway, this is just the latest development. Nothing too amazing about it, but I want to make sure that I cited it since it was indeed in the news here today. But that's it for this video, and thanks for stopping by. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!